Hello everyone, this is Pooka, and today we are going to look at the next Pokemon TCG expansion. That's right, XY Primal Clash. We are taking a look at it right now. Now this set has not been released yet. It is officially coming out in a few weeks, I believe. Not sure what the exact date is exactly, but there are scans on PokeBeach.com, and it's worth noting that this set will be legal for the Florida Regional Championship, and that is the only regional championship where this set will be legal. Because something about the set's release date, it will be legal for that regional championship, so it is worth taking a look at this set right now. Okay? So Primal Clash has a lot of interesting stuff in it we're going to get to, and all sorts of exciting stuff, even a new mechanic. So let's just jump right into it. I think the most exciting thing about this set is that Pokemon now have these kind of ancient traits, I guess is what they're called. The little things up here, right? This one says, I think that's Omega Barrier. Whenever your opponent plays a trainer card, excluding tools and stadiums, prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. So that's very interesting. It's not an ability. It's not things like a Pokepower or Pokebody that we've seen in the past. It's just kind of there. It's just a trait that the card has. And some of them are very, very important. For example, this Sceptile has this Omega Barrier that stops things like Crushing Hammer or Hypnotoxic Laser or pretty much any item card from affecting Sceptile. And that's pretty game-breaking when you think about how many decks rely on stuff like Hypnotoxic Laser. So that's a very interesting mechanic that's being introduced. Now, unfortunately, this Sceptile isn't great otherwise, and that is really a downfall of these ancient traits. Most of the Pokemon that have them are not very good, but oh well. We'll take a look at them regardless, okay? So let's jump right into some cards I feel have some potential, and of course this set has lots of Pokemon EX, so first thing I'm going to do is just look at all of those. First one's going to be Trevenant EX. Now, Trevenant we're used to seeing as a psychic Pokemon, but now it is a grass type. Has some okay attacks. Dark Forest is 20, and then your opponent can't retreat. That's not great. 20 for 1 on a Pokemon EX. I'm sure this can come up sometime, but I just don't see that being very good. And then Wood Blast, 50 plus 20 for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. Now, I mean, we've seen this kind of attack before with Keldeo EX and even Delphox, so I'm not too excited to see Wood Blast here. I don't feel like Trevenant EX is going to be a very strong Pokemon unless there's a lot of grass support, some way to attach extra energy, I don't know. Yeah, you could use Virizion EX to Emerald Slash to it, but I mean, you'd rather just use Genesect, right? So Trevenant I'm not overly impressed with, but that is the first EX we're going to look at. Next one is going to be Camerupt EX. Now, Camerupt has Tumbling Attack, 30 for 2. If you flip heads, it is 60. Again, not overly good. And then Explosive Jet, 50 times the number of fire energy attached to your Pokemon that you decide to discard. Now, that has some potential. It's a very expensive attack, which is why I don't like it. Also weak to water, which means a Seismitoad EX is going to give it some real problems, but I don't know, something about Explosive Jet seems fun. If you discard like 4 energy, you do 200 damage, and you know there are things like Blacksmith in the format, which can get some extra energy out there. So I don't know, maybe Explosive Jet will have some use at some point. I don't feel like it will be very good currently, but down the line I could see this card being decent. So Camerupt EX as well. And okay, here is the big boy, Wailord EX. Oh man, Wailord EX has 250 hit points. 250. Are you kidding me? It's just a basic you can put down, and it has 250 hit points. The Mega Pokemon do not have 250 hit points. It is ridiculous. Wailord, breaking the record it set long ago. I mean, Wailord used to be Like, oh my goodness, 200 HP. How are we ever going to knock that thing out? And now we have 250. No big deal. Now, even though that is an absurd amount of HP, I don't see this card really being playable. High Breaching takes 5 water energy for 120 damage, and then you put yourself to sleep. That's just not very good. 5 energy, goodness. Now, the ability, when you attach an energy from your hand to the Pokemon, you remove all special conditions, so there's supposed to be some kind of cute synergy, putting yourself to sleep and then waking it back up. But, yeah, this is just not a practical card for competitive play. Sure, there could be some kind of strategy involving, you know, like Max Potion, maybe like a Dusknoir, the one that moves damage to itself. Just a Wailord deck with tons of healing cards, but I don't see it right now. I don't know. It could be useful, but maybe as like a wall in a Donphan deck, because goodness, it's so hard to knock out. But as an attacker, I'm not seeing Wailord being good anytime soon. But you never know. I've been wrong before. All right. So the next EXs we're going to look at is number 1. Apparently that one doesn't zoom in very much, so I apologize. Kyogre EX. That's fine, because it's not very good anyway. 30 and sleep for 2. 140 and then return 2 water energy to your hand for 4 energy. Giant Whirlpool could be decent at some point, but no, the one we're going to focus on here is Primal Kyogre EX. So this is another new mechanic. I mean, it is and it isn't. Primal is a new classification, but it's basically just a mega evolution. So Primal Kyogre EX, same thing when you Primal Reversion, I guess that's what this is called. Your turn ends. So it's mega evolving. Don't be fooled by the name, guys. But it has A growth. It might be alpha growth. I really should have looked this stuff up beforehand so I didn't look stupid, but I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. But basically it allows you to attach 2 energy to Primal Kyogre EX every turn. So what it officially says is when you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, except with an attack ability or trainer card, you may attach 2 energy cards. No, that does not mean 2 more energy cards. That means you can attach 2 total energy cards per turn. Okay? So it's not, oh, I attached 1, now I can attach 2. No, 2 energy total. You get 1 extra. Okay? So 2 energy per turn makes up for the fact that it costs 4 energy to attack. A little bit. But Tidal Storm does 150 damage. It's a pretty solid amount with a 240 HP Pokemon, a monster of a Pokemon. Move 2 energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon, and then 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon EX. That could be a massive attack, a game-changing attack. You don't know. I don't know. There could be some potential in this Primal Kyogre EX at some point. It's going to be difficult to get into play, to power it up, and all that stuff. Weakness to grass, you never know. Virizion, Genesect still, out there somewhere. But at first glance, it's a very powerful card, and I don't know. I'm excited to see if anybody figures out a way to use it. All right, so there's that Kyogre, and then of course we move on to Groudon EX. Now, for some reason, this scan is not very big either, but once again, these attacks aren't very good. Rip Claw, 30, and then flip to discard energy. Massive Rend, 4 energy for 130 damage. Of course, with strong energy and such, you could do a lot more damage, but the real guy we're looking at here is Primal Groudon EX. Another 240 HP Pokemon. Has the Omega Barrier once again. So just like that Sceptile we saw earlier, not affected by trainer cards unless they're tools or stadiums. That's really good. You can't get hit by laser or crushing hammer or enhanced hammer. Those would be big, big things for Primal Groudon. And again, it's not an ability. Gardevoir cannot shut it off. So this could be a major player in the format. You just don't know. It's just such a massive Pokemon, so tough to deal with. And for 4 energy, Gaia Volcano, 100. And then if there's a stadium in play, it does 100 more damage. So basically it reads, if there's a stadium card in play, obliterate the defending Pokemon. And then discard the stadium card. Alright, so this is very similar to Donphan's Wreck Attack Gaia Volcano, but it costs 3 fighting, whereas Donphan's only costs 2. So it's going to be tougher to power up this bad boy. But once you do, he's going to start rolling through some guys, and unless your opponent has a grass Pokemon, it's probably going to be able to take a hit or two. 240 HP is ridiculous. So Gaia Volcano, again, these are big, bulky, slow Pokemon to power up, but once you do, I'm kind of scared. Gaia Volcano every turn, I am not looking forward to facing down one of those. Okay, so after that we have Sharpedo EX. Every set's got to have one of these guys. Just an underwhelming Pokemon. For 2 energy we have Hunt. You can pick one of your opponent's Pokemon and do 30. You actually have to pick a benched Pokemon. So if your opponent doesn't have any benched Pokemon, you can't even do damage. I think. I'm not quite sure on that, but yeah, you pick off one of your opponent's benched Pokemon, bring them active, and hit them for 30. And then Jagged Fang for 3, 100. And then if you discard energy from Sharpedo, discard energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Don't see this card being very good, folks. Sorry. Stick with your Yveltal EX. Same weakness, no resistance. Worse attacks all around. Alright, next up, we have Aggron EX. Not a great card. Steel Headbutt, 50. If you flip heads, it does 30 more. Raging Hammer, 60 plus 10 for each damage counter. We don't care about him so much because we have Mega Aggron EX. Here we go. Here's where, if you like flipping coins, this could be your guy. Mega Aggron EX, 240 HP. This one's officially a Mega Evolution. But it has Megaton Slam, 120 damage for 4 energy, 2 metal and 2 colorless. Then you may flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 120 more damage. So that's a total of 240 damage, which can actually knock out those Primal Kyogre and Groudon. And the numbers just keep getting bigger, folks. Now, of course, if you flip tails, does 20 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. Now, you could run Mr. Mime to alleviate that kind of thing, but that is a pretty nasty drawback. But man, if you flip heads, 240, and of course you could use something like a Trick Coin or a Victory Star Victini to help out with your odds on the coin flipping. 240 HP, metal typing, could have some play with Bronzong. I don't know, maybe there's some potential for the big bad Mega Aggron EX. Something to watch out for. Now this set is full of Mega Evolutions with some potential here. Now Gardevoir EX is the next and final EX we have in this set. For 1 Fairy Energy it has Life Leap, 20, and then you heal as much damage as you did. Then for 3 Fairy it does 100 damage, and then during your opponent's next turn it has no weakness. Could be pretty useful, but again we're focused more on the Mega Pokemon here, and this one is Mega Gardevoir EX. This is the one I feel like has the most potential out of this set, just because of its typing and the support it would have with something like Xerneas and Aromatisse. So 210 HP Fairy Pokemon, and has the attack Brilliant Arrow. 30 damage times the amount of Fairy energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So that's really good with something like Xerneas' Geomancy, which gets 2 energy in play. If you just build up enough energy in play, Brilliant Arrow can get one-hit knockouts with a Mega Pokemon. And, with Aromatisse and Max Potion, we could be seeing the birth of, an even stronger Aromatisse kind of deck. It's something I would like to see, but Brilliant Arrow is an expensive attack, and you do need probably 6 energy in play to knock out a Pokemon EX. So, it might be a little too much maintenance to use, but I definitely see the potential there. So Mega Gardevoir EX, look out for this card. I think it's going to be pretty good. Alright, so we've looked at all of the Pokemon EX in this set. Now I want to go back and look at some more interesting Pokemon that we might see. These don't even have to be good Pokemon. I just think that there are some interesting ones in this set. And the first one's going to be Beedrill. Now again, I don't think this is going to be very good, but Allergic Shock during your next turn, if the defending Pokemon is damaged by an attack, it is knocked out. So that's kind of a 1-2 punch here. We don't see too many attacks like this, but they're not very good anyway. Just something original, I guess. Basically, if your opponent's active Pokemon doesn't go to the bench, and then if you do any amount of damage, like 10 damage, they are automatically knocked out. And that's kind of funny when you think about it. Beedrill sets them up, and then you can come in with like a Torchic and do 10 damage and knock out an EX. Could be kind of funny. So Beedrill, first card I want to look at. Twin Needle is just an average attack. Next card I want to look at is very interesting though. Sceptile has the ability Nurture and Heal. So once during your turn you may attach a grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon, then heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. This is a throwback to Meganium EX, one of my favorite cards, had Nurture and Heal. Same thing, only healed 10 back in the day. So this is kind of updated for nowadays. Attaching an extra energy, especially with a very nice type like Grass, could be playable. Of course, it is a Stage 2, which makes it probably unplayable, but just something to keep in mind. Energy Acceleration is always good, and if you get multiple Sceptile in play, you can use more than one. The Healing 30 is definitely relevant. Just something, you never know. Could be okay. Speaking of could be okay, Ludicolo has Captivating Rhythm. Basically, it's a Pokemon catcher as an ability. So if you flip heads, bring out one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Again, it's a Stage 2, which makes it not that great. This is actually a throwback to an old Metagross, had this same ability. So, I don't know, that wasn't playable even in a time where Stage 2s were playable. So, I don't see this being great anytime soon, but again, just something wanted to keep in mind. Now, something I think is extremely playable and extremely good is Ninetales. So Ninetales has the ability Barrier Shrine. Each player can't play any stadium cards from his or her hand. Whoa. Okay, now think about how many decks use stadiums nowadays. They are pretty much everywhere. Whether it's Verbank City Gym, Fighting Stadium, Shadow Circle for your Yveltal decks, Training Center for Evolution decks even. And there's more stadium cards we can even look at here. Fairy Garden. Locking in a stadium card for the whole game is really good. Just imagine if you're playing like a fairy deck and you have Fairy Garden stuck there all game. Your opponent can't get rid of it. That's really strong. A fighting deck where Fighting Stadium is out there all game and just preventing your opponent from playing their stadium. This is going to be an underrated card, but I feel like it will make its way into decks eventually. Just that ability is really strong to just sit on the bench and stop stadiums from being played. Now, you do have to put your own stadium out if you want to play one before you put Ninetales out, because neither player can play stadium cards. So there is a little bit of trickiness to it, but I definitely feel like that is a playable card. Okay, next card I want to look at just for fun is Torchic. Okay, so Torchic has this trait, I think it's Omega Barrage. This Pokemon may attack twice a turn. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon. So that's actually pretty funny. You can attack twice in a turn. We've only seen something like this with Raichu level X all the way back in Stormfront. But, yeah, I mean, Torchic doesn't have very good attacks, but it's just kind of the novelty of it. If you put a Silver Bangle on Torchic and use Claw and happen to flip heads twice, you can knock out a Genesect EX in one hit. Well, not one hit. One turn, if you flip both heads. With Silver Bangle adding 30 to both attacks and the weakness and the whatnot, you could get a hilarious knockout with a Torchic for 1 energy on a Genesect EX. Just something to keep in mind. Flare bonus is decent, but okay, just wanted to point out Torchic could provide some entertainment in the future. Next up, we're actually going to have Swampert. So this is another Stage 2 Pokemon, but it's pretty good, I think. It has alpha growth, same as the Primal Kyogre EX. You can attach 2 energy per turn to this Swampert. Diving Search allows you to search for a card and then put a card on top of your deck, which is Macargo's Smooth Over from the EX Deoxys set. 10 years ago already. Same thing. It was playable, but this is a stage 2, so I don't know. Hydro Pump, though, 40 plus 30 for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you have 3 water energy on there, it's doing 130 damage, which is not bad by any means. Maybe you could pair this up with Blastoise or something, who knows. Maybe a water Pokemon can make a comeback in the form of stage 2s. Just something to think about. Alright, so there's Swampert. Feel like that could be playable for sure. Alright, next card we're going to look at is Milotic. It has the ability Sparkling Ripples. When you play it to evolve one of your Pokemon, you can take a card from your discard pile and put it into your hand. Now we've kind of lost the ability to take things out of the discard as well as we used to. Right, no more Super Rod. It's been replaced by Sacred Ash. No more Sableye to Junk Hunt. Your items are pretty much gone unless you have a dowsing machine. So having something like Milotic in the format could be pretty useful. Just being able to get back any card, get back a double colorless energy, that could be huge. So this is something to keep in mind, that this card does exist, and maybe there are some combos for it in the future. Always like to keep those cards in mind. Okay, next up we have Manaphy. This is not an overwhelming Pokemon by any means, but the current game has a distinct lack of support Pokemon. And Manaphy is a solid one, I guess. Deep Sea Swirl for a water energy allows you to shuffle in and then draw 6 cards. There aren't many cards that allow you to draw a new hand nowadays. We used to have Chat Out with Mimic, one of my favorites. We used to have Cleffa with Eek. Now we have Spiritomb with Hex Mirror, but that's not that great. Deep Sea Swirl, something to keep in mind. I don't think this is playable by any means, but it is rather unique in today's game. Okay, after Manaphy, we have Electros. So Electros, often overlooked because Electric overpowered it for many years. That Dynamotor ability was pretty good. Now we have Electros with a pretty solid ability of its own, Energy Connect. As often as you like, you may move a basic energy attached to one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. So you can get some energy movement here. Maybe some things that can attach extra energy to themselves can be paired with Electros as kind of some energy acceleration engine. Right, if you attach 2 energy to something and then move them up to the active, you get 2 energy attachments per turn. That could be kind of cool. Alright, so you never know when this kind of thing could come in handy. Once again, this is an old Pokepower on an Ampharos back in the E-Series. So, looks like they're bringing back a lot of mechanics. Seems to be a big theme here with with this set, and from what I've seen from the Aqua Magma set. Lots of repeated mechanics, but ones we haven't seen in quite some time. Energy Connect, though, something you can keep in mind for something that could be decent, but again, limited by the fact that it's a Stage 2. Speaking of Stage 2s, we do have Nidoqueen. This is probably the only powerful Pokemon that can attack twice in a turn, but it's just not that good. Dynamite Punch, 70 and then 20 to yourself. Ugh. Now with Dimension Valley, you can turn that into a 2 Psychic Energy attack. With a Muscle Band, you can hit 90 twice and knock out a Pokemon EX. So that does have some potential. But then you hit yourself for 20 twice. What's up with that? Why do you need to do 20 to yourself? It seemed a little sad to add that on to Nidoqueen's Dynamite Punch. I think even without that drawback, it's a borderline playable card. But could be some fun, get a Muscle Band on there, knock out an EX with Dynamite Punch. Who knows? Could be fun. All right, speaking of fun, similar thing here with Medicham. Again, with the Omega Barrage, you can attack twice in a turn. It has Yoga Kick. Now, this is only 30 damage. I just think this is very funny, though. If you get a Strong Energy, a Muscle Band, and a Fighting Stadium, that adds up to 90 damage with Yoga Kick, and that means 2 hits for 90. You can knock out a Pokemon EX with Yoga Kick, but probably even worse than Nidoqueen, seeing as it only has 90 HP. But I just like entertaining things like this. A little Medicham takes a 30 damage attack, and somehow, with the power of Strong Energy, Muscle Band, Fighting Stadium, Omega Barrage can boost that 30 up to 180 damage in a single turn. I just thought that was kind of funny. Next, we have Hippowdon. I don't think this card is great, but I always like to look at fighting Pokemon because of Strong Energy. Resistance Desert does 60, and then prevents all effects of attacks, including damage done to it by Pokemon EX. So this could be a decent Pokemon at some point. Again, with a Strong Energy and a Muscle Band, can already hit for 100, and then won't be hit by EXs. So who knows? Just could be good. I just like to point these kinds of things out. I don't plan on it being good, but you never know what stuff comes out in new sets to make cards like that good in the future. Speaking of that, we have Crawdaunt. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, this is basically the supporter card Team Flare Grunt, but it doesn't take your supporter. You just evolve to Crawdaunt and boom, discard an energy, and then maybe you play some Super Scoop Ups or something. This could be the next big annoying deck. Unruly Claw. I don't look forward to facing this kind of thing. Anything that discards energy annoys me to no end, but it's worth pointing out. Next, we have Excadrill. So Excadrill, another Pokemon with the Omega Barrage. It can attack twice in a turn, and I think this is kind of neat. Probably something really good in pre-releases. Dredge allows you to search your deck for 2 energy cards and attach them to Excadrill. And then you can attack a second time, which means you can use Mach Claw for 50. Now, 50 is not overwhelming, so that's why this card's not going to be great. Even with a Silver Bangle, it's only hitting for 80 against EXs, but the ability to power yourself up and attack in the same turn is pretty cool. I just wish Mach Claw would have done like 60 damage. That would have made it, like a decent card, but 50 just probably not going to be good. Aegislash, another card I want to just point out. Miracle Guard gives your Pokemon no weakness. This is exactly what Leaveney does right now, I think. I can't remember if that requires an energy to be attached to your Pokemon, but another thing that takes away weakness. Stage 2 Pokemon that take away weakness have really never been playable, even though they seem nice. Just probably not going to work out. Alright, speaking of another Stage 2 Pokemon, we don't have the best scan for this one, but Kingdra is decent. Another one that allows you to attach 2 energy to it. Gather Strength gets you 4 basic energy cards out of your deck. It puts them into your hand. That's not a great attack. But Dragon Blast, 150 for 3 energy, and then you have to discard a water and a lightning. I don't know. Dragon Blast could be good. 150 is kind of that magic number, where with a Muscle Band or a Silver Bangle, you can knock out most EXs. 150 is going to knock out any non-EX with relative ease. So this is a solid non-EX attacker. Just again, Stage 2s are so difficult to use in today's game. But there's another card that someday could be good. That has a lot of potential. With the ability to attach 2 energy in a turn, maybe some energy acceleration alongside of it. I don't know, could be decent. And then the last Pokemon I want to take a look at is Bunnelby. Another thing with the Omega Barrage, it can attack twice a turn. Burrow can discard the top card of your opponent's deck, so this could be a funny way to beat your opponent if they only have 2 cards left in their deck. You can use Burrow twice and discard their top 2 cards. And Rototiller, that gets my vote for weirdest attack name in the set. Rototiller gets to shuffle a card from your discard back in your deck. It's an attack, so it's not that great, but I just like taking a look at the double attack Pokemon. I think those are kind of fun. Okay, so those are all the Pokemon. I suppose you could look at Buffalon as well. I don't think this card's playable. Does 40 more damage to opponent's grass Pokemon. Derail 80, discard a special energy. I like the Gold Breaker Buffalon better, but okay, that's the last Pokemon I will point out here. I'm sure there are a few I've missed, but we've taken a look at a lot, so we'll stop there with the Pokemon. Okay, now on to the trainers. We'll take a look at all of them, since all of them have the potential to be decent. First one is going to be Acro Bike, an item card. Take a look at the top 2 cards. Pick one, discard the other. Could be good in decks that like to discard cards, like Night March. You want to, pick up a card, discard a Night Marcher. That could be good. Or even discard an energy in a Mega Manectric deck. Could be okay. I wish it looked at more than the top 2, though. It just doesn't seem very powerful. I don't see us running this over a supporter most of the time. I don't see decks running this over a regular bicycle most of the time, or roller skates. So it's going to be hard to find a good spot for this card, but something to keep in mind. Okay, time for some Spirit Links, though. We have Aggron Spirit Link. So every Pokemon that Mega Evolves or does the Primal thing does have a Spirit Link. There's Aggron, there's Gardevoir, there's Groudon, there's Kyogre. So all of these Megas, Primals, whatever you want to call them, big bad Pokemon, they get Spirit Links, which means their turn doesn't end if you decide to evolve them. So I think it's cool that we are starting to get that for every EX. I just wish they would retroactively print a Mega Kangaskhan one. But that's wishful thinking, I suppose. Okay, next we're going to look at a very interesting card. Archie's Ace in the Hole. My vote for worst named card ever. Okay, so you can only play when it's the last card in your hand. Then you get to take a water Pokemon from your discard pile, put it onto your bench, and draw 5. I think this supporter has tons of potential, and it can provide all sorts of creative decks. So when it says water Pokemon, it can be any water Pokemon. It doesn't have to be a basic. You could put a Blastoise out there. You could put a Primal Kyogre EX out there. Just using Archie's Ace in the Hole. It's going to be difficult to pull off, having it be the last card in your hand, but I like this card. I think it's going to be fun to try out. So Archie's Ace in the Hole, definitely going to open up some ideas. Now, along with the water support, we have Dive Ball. Search for a water Pokemon. That can actually be pretty good. In water decks, you don't have to play Ultra Ball if you don't want anymore. You can just do Dive Ball instead. That's just a great consistency card for any water-committed deck. I like it. Energy Retrieval, we already have this. It's a new artwork for this card. Escape Rope, again, already have this. A new artwork, though. So welcome back. And welcome back, EXP Share, to Standard Play. So this was rotated out in Next Destinies. That's where EXP Share is from. But yeah, same card, brought back. If your active gets knocked out by damage, you can move a basic energy to the Pokemon that is EXP Share on it. Could be useful. Fresh Water Set. Okay, couldn't just be a case of fresh water, had to be a set. Heals 20 from each of your Pokemon. Don't think this card is great. There aren't too many spread decks in the format. If you want a healing card, play a potion, play a max potion. Fresh Water Set, I don't think so. Next we have Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick, which may have earned my vote, replacing Archie's Ace in the Hole with worst named card ever. Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick, same thing but for fighting Pokemon. So I think this is interesting as well. All sorts of fighting Pokemon you could get back. Get my boy Machamp out there. Don't even have to rare candy him. It'll be fun, if you're just playing a fighting deck and just throw a random stage 2 in your deck and Hidden Ball Trick it into play. Oh, there's lots of fun to be had with the Hidden Ball Trick and the Ace in the Hole. Now we have Professor Birch's Observations. So we have Professor Oak's new theory, Professor Birch's Observations. These guys do a lot of work, I guess. Very scientific. Elm's training method. Okay, so you shuffle your hand in your deck and you flip a coin. If heads, you draw 7. If tails, you draw 4. Pretty, I don't want to say high risk, high reward, because you're drawing 4 regardless. Drawing 7 isn't even like a high reward. Maybe someday this card will be good, but currently I don't think it's good. I really wish they would just reprint Professor Oak's new theory, shuffle it and draw 6, and I would be happy. But they didn't. Rare Candy is back. I was getting worried there. Rare Candy has been legal for every single modified or standard format since 2004. So Rare Candy will continue to be playable. And it's just a nice, healthy card to have in the format. Repeat Ball, kind of interesting. You can search for a Pokemon with the same name as one of your Pokemon in play. So if you have a Seismitoad EX, you can Repeat Ball for another Seismitoad EX. I don't know. If you have a Squirtle, you can grab another Squirtle. Could be okay. Maybe as a one-of, but don't think that card's going to see a ton of play. Now, Stadium card, Rough Seas. During each player's turn, you may heal 30 damage from each of your Water and Lightning Pokemon. So that healing could be pretty big. Maybe a nice card in a Mega Manectric deck. Healing from your Lightning Pokemon. I don't know. This certainly has potential. That's a lot of healing for a Stadium. But your opponent gets to use it too. Scorched Earth. This is an interesting card. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a Fire or Fighting Energy card from their hand, and then if you do, you draw 2 cards. So it's a very specific... Stadium cards... I guess Stadium cards recently haven't been entirely specific to types. Fighting Stadium was an exception to that. But, normally it's stuff like Verbank. I guess Shadow Circle kind of was specific to a type 2. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fairy Garden was too. We're going to forget I said that. But, yeah, if you have Fighting or Fire Energy in your deck, it might be worth playing Scorched Earth for some additional draw. I like non-supporter-based draws, so there you go. Shrine of Memories. So all of your evolved Pokemon can use any attack from its previous evolutions. This is very similar to Celebi EX's ability. And very similar to the Stadium card Meteor Falls. Could be decent. Maybe we'll bust that out in a Politoed deck. Silent Lab. Each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and each player's discard pile has no abilities. Let's see. So this could be useful for shutting off Darkrai EX or Jirachi EX. I don't know what deck's going to play this, but Silent Lab does exist. And now time for the most intriguing supporter of the set, Teammates. So everybody remembers Twins, which you could only play if you were losing the game. Now Teammates you can play only if one of your opponent's Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. So if your opponent knocks out one of your Pokemon, you get to search for 2 cards and put them into your hand. Any 2 cards. Oh man. So very similar to Twins, but now it's Teammates. Now it's only right after one of your Pokemon gets knocked out. It's worth noting that Hypnotoxic Laser poison damage does not activate Teammates, since the knockout does not occur during your opponent's turn. So something to keep in mind. Please do not get a game loss for that. I'm sure that's going to happen so many times. But yeah, just a very solid card. I guarantee this card will see lots of play. And then the last trainer card in this set, well, I guess, is Weakness Policy, a Pokemon tool you attach and it has no weakness. Could be interesting. Taking away weakness. Weakness always a big deal in the Pokemon TCG. So who knows? Weakness Policy could be decent. We have some special energy in this set. We have Shield Energy. It's basically metal energy, special metal energy that we've seen for the past 10 years, 10 plus years. It reduces damage by 10. But this one can only be attached to metal Pokemon. So much like the brand new Strong Energy, Herbal Energy, Mystery Energy, and what's the other one that I'm forgetting? Whatever. Okay. I don't know if there was another one, but if there was, I'm forgetting it. Shield Energy. Yeah. I'm surprised it isn't just a reprint of Special Metal Energy, but then I think, oh, Bronzong could get those back. So, good thinking. Don't do that. Okay, Wonder Energy, the other special energy in this set, can only put it on fairy Pokemon, and it prevents all effects of attacks except damage done to the fairy Pokemon this card is attached to. Existing effects are not removed, so that's different than like a Reversion EX, or a Verdant Wind would remove a special condition. This could be good, but I don't know, you're worried about Enhanced Hammer, so I don't know if you would ever actually play this in a fairy deck. Worth noting, it does exist, though. Let's take a look at the full art. Everybody loves the shiny cards, so let's take a look at Trevenant EX. Kind of a creepy-looking card. Sorry, all these scans aren't up to par. The set hasn't officially come out yet, so all the scans aren't as great as they usually are. Camerupt EX, kind of a cool-looking card there. I like that one. Wailord EX, there we go. There's the big one. The big guy, Wailord Kyogre EX, I like that one. That one looks kind of cool. Primal Kyogre EX. I don't know, is that... let's see, how does that compare to the other? Come on up with me, Kyogre. Come on up here. Get up here. Come on. We're almost there. Come on. We're going to make it, Kyogre. It's a really heavy Pokemon, guys. Okay, so here we go. Primal Kyogre EX, yeah, it does look different. It's a full art, I guess. But not really, because it has the Primal Reversion rule. That's strange. So it's full art, but kind of not. Different picture, though. They're finally not doing just gold megas, so I approve. Okay, so there's that. Of course, the Primal Groudon will look different as well. Here's Groudon EX. That's a mean-looking card. I like that one. That gets the thumbs up stamp of approval from me. And the Primal Groudon looking kind of cool as well. Yeah, I'm still... The Primal Reversion rule being there throws me off. I don't know. It is full art, I guess. It just looks weird. All right, Sharpedo EX. He's going to eat you. That's pretty cool looking. Aggron EX. Looks all right. Mega Aggron EX. That one looks kind of cool. I do like the full arts in this set. Gardevoir EX is beautiful, as it should be. Mega Gardevoir EX looks kind of neat as well. And then we have the full art supporters. Archie's Ace in the Hole. Looks kind of devious. I like it. So does Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. I like that one. Professor's Birch Observations. Something about the sandals just always throws me off about Professor Birch. Not a big fan. Teammates. One is pretty scared. One is pretty happy. Not sure what's going on there. And then we have 4 gold items. Okay, so we have Dive Ball. Kind of cool, Dive Ball. A gold version. A gold enhanced hammer. What my worst nightmare. Now one of my least favorite cards is gold. So it can just be emphatically played down against me. And that ensures we have enhanced hammer in the format for even longer. Oh my goodness. Gold Switch. A lot of people are excited about this one. Gold Switch. Switch printed in base set finally gets the love it deserves. A gold card. This card's going to be expensive, I'm sure. And then a gold weakness policy, which is kind of neat, I guess. This will probably join the ranks of gold Rocky Helmet, though. All right, so there you have it. Primal Clash. What do you guys think of this set? I think it's kind of cool. There's some new mechanics. There's some playable Pokemon in here. The trainers are mixing stuff up. I'm excited for this set. I feel like this is a pretty strong set. Maybe not as good as Phantom Forces was, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a good set, I think. Lots of competitive options to work with. So if you want to take a look at all these scans, check out Pokebeach.com. I'll have the link in the description. If you think I missed anything, any of the good cards, say, oh, what are you thinking, man? Macargo's really good. Leave it down in the comments. There's certainly a chance I missed something really good. I'm not perfect. I apologize. But otherwise, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.